You're typically looking to acquire maybe a business once every 18 to 24 months. So my last acquisition was back in the beginning of 2022. And we're now speaking in October 2023. The financial picture has changed dramatically, as we all have witnessed. And even the way I finance the business wouldn't even be available today.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are watching and listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, hey, we're always big advocates here of entrepreneurialism, and always say, before you go start a business, think about buying one, because there's so many benefits when you buy an existing business, because you get to see what they're doing wrong or what could be done better. You get to improve it, and hopefully it's not losing too much money. But when you start your own business, you know, the old saw is like, it's going to take you a year to 18 months, 2 years to actually see a profit. Well, someone who's an expert in this is Michael Frew. Michael, you've been doing this in the software business for years. Just tell us, how'd you wind up getting into this?
Hey, thanks for having me. And yeah, I was a corporate warrior, like many of your listeners probably, and looking for my way out. And, you know, the way that people look at it, it's either you try and start some passive real estate investing or you try and start your own business. And probably like many of your listeners, I've tried to start my own software business dozens and dozens of times. I had multiple failed projects. And finally realized, you know, why don't I just acquire my own momentum and buy a business that's already running, already has cash flow, already has marketing funnels, has a website, has a working product. And you get past that 99.9% of businesses that fail, kind of like you were saying, even if it takes 12 to 18 months, a vast majority don't succeed. So being able to buy that momentum and start from day one with cash flow completely changed my approach to how I was going to go forward in my career.
Right. And hey, like I do this too. I help people turn around companies that aren't making money, that are marginally profitable or even failing. As long as they have a core of a business there, it's easy to do. I mean, I can turn around just about any company in 90 days, unless there's something terminally wrong with it where it just can't be turned around.
There's a lot of turnaround opportunities available in software and online businesses as well. And boy, especially if you're say you're an expert at marketing and that's what's failing. A lot of the companies I buy are built, the idea comes from an engineer, they're built by an engineer. Developers aren't really into marketing, even if they're really good at it. That's not what they enjoy doing. So sometimes you'll see a business that gets a little bit stuck, and it's just because it's missing that front end marketing piece. And so that's not even a turnaround opportunity, but that's a great opportunity if that's your skill.
Yeah, sometimes the turnarounds are really easy. And, you know, the problem is the principals who are currently involved in a business that is not meeting expectations, put it generously, so emotionally involved. This is their baby. You know, so many of you out there, you look at the business, this is my baby. And you can't, it's like with your kids, you know, you can't be objective with your kids. You can't be objective with your business. And that's why you need to bring somebody in who can be.
Absolutely. And that's an opportunity for someone like me, where if you're the entrepreneur that started a business and you got it to that point where now you're not the right person in there, there are people like me that then acquire the business after you, kind of take it to that next level. And then I sell it off to the people that can do it from where I hit my own ceiling.
Right. So, you know, it's like Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood said, a man's got to know his limitations, and a woman for that matter too, but that's a different story. So, hey, tell us a couple of your acquisitions you've done recently and how they're working out.
Yeah. So for software, and I'm in the SaaS space, which is software as a service. You're typically looking to acquire maybe a business once every 18 to 24 months. So my last acquisition was back in the beginning of 2022. And we're now speaking in October 2023. The financial picture has changed dramatically, as we all have witnessed. And even the way I finance the business wouldn't even be available today. But you really kind of have to roll with how the economy is working if you're going to be financing the business acquisition at all. but also full cash is an opportunity as well. So when I see a comparison a lot between should I be investing in real estate for kind of a low cash flow and shooting for tax advantage and appreciation, or looking to acquire an online business where I'm going to get a lot higher cash flow. We also get the tax advantage. We also get the appreciation. A lot of times that's where I'm trying to help people be aware that, looking at buying an online business, which can be global, it isn't restricted by your geography, maybe can be a really good way to diversify that portfolio, especially if you already have some real estate holdings, if you've already got some stock or equity and bond holdings. This is that third pillar of wealth creation by having that business ownership.
Right. Hey, and a lot of these software companies qualify for a a research and development tax credit. They weren't even taking advantage of it, right?
You're absolutely correct. That is a pretty nice change that happened in the last few years as that became more understood, popular, and you can reach out to firms that'll help you with the R&D tax credit. We qualify actually for quite a few of the tax advantages. Again, same as real estate, you can depreciate the assets within the business. So whatever is classified as an asset with the software, that is also depreciated, which was a surprise to me when I started. As well as if you make any losses, you can write that off in the future.
In addition to which, advanced tax planning strategy, but if you've got a software business, most of your value comes from intellectual property or IP. So you can spin your IP off into a trust, and then the trust will get royalties from the company, which then qualify as passive income and can be written off against passive losses in other endeavors, right?
Correct. Yep.
So a lot of advantages here in the software business for sure. What areas do you see great opportunities for that maybe the market hasn't figured out yet?
Yeah, one of the biggest increases in activity that I've seen, as well as increase in cash flow, is in newsletters around a specialty. So we were speaking a little bit before this call of you have a lot of expertise in your area. Publishing a newsletter in that is just another way to reach your audience, and sponsorship deals with those have really increased in the past because you have a captive audience that is they have self-selected that this is exactly what they want to listen to. And I've started to see quite a good number of transactions in the 5, 6, 7-figure area around newsletters and publishing on things like Substack.
Really? So, we've got a substantial mailing list here. If we wanted to get into the newsletter business, is it a free newsletter with sponsors? Do you charge for it? Subscription? How's that work?
There's almost every option that you would like. You can start with a free, you can have a premium and a free. You can definitely do sponsorships. So it really is up to your own imagination. If you already have an email list like you do, you can, this is such a chance to monetize it without annoying your customers by selling the email list to somebody else that maybe isn't the right fit. This is a way that you get to speak to your customers again. And yeah, like you said, you can do sponsorships. You can put your courses at the end of it. You can have a private paid, for a little bit of extra with the newsletter each month. It's kind of unlimited and people are still figuring things out. It's nice because it's a new industry. So all sorts of innovation is happening around it all the time.
That's really, really interesting avenue that's available to many of you out there. You just need, what's the minimum size mailing list for a newsletter?
That's a good question that I don't actually know the answer to. I wish I did. But you can honestly start with, you can start with, you're right. It kind of depends on your market. If you're a super small niche, you really don't need too many people before you're going to get a sponsor that says, hey, you found my small audience. You've done all the marketing work for me. I'll give you a few $100 just to put my name at the top of your newsletter. So I don't want to restrict anybody by saying, hey, you have to have 10,000 emails. It can really just be a couple hundred for a really targeted market niche.
Yeah. Well, hey, you could target people who are billionaires, people that own, GS 650s. I'd rather have 200 people who own GS 650s than to have 2 million people who are living in their cellar or the attic of their parents' home, right?
Yep. The value of that customer and the value of that email address is so much higher.
Very much so. All right. I know you guys are going to want to reach out to Michael. You're going to want to check out his work. Michael, just tell us how we find you on the web, how we connect with you.
Easiest way, I'm at michaelfrew.com. So that's spelled Frew for my last name. So michaelfrew.com /FSN, and you'll land on a podcast page that I put up for this episode. I've got a newsletter from there. I've got videos to help people walk through, if I ever wanted to buy an online business, what are the questions that I need answers? And you can kind of go from there and just reach out and see if I can help you with anything. I'm not selling anything, just trying to help people figure out how to move out of that corporate career and get into online business acquisitions.
All right. Appreciate that, Michael. And the link will be in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. While you're there, sign up for that free newsletter so I can start monetizing it. Michael, we'll definitely have you back on again. Appreciate you stopping by.
Sounds great. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.